Anyway, I'm out here in Yakima. I got a day off finally, which is nice. But I'm on my way to well, I don't know if it's an appeasement for their conscience. Something like that. I don't know. I don't know what it is, to tell you the truth. But, uh, but, let's see here. Bluetooth, yeah, it's on. Anyway, it's kind of getting that time of weather again. Look at that. um, yeah, so I shared it on Instagram where I'm building an actual, I'm building a fireplace so they can hang the kids' stockings on there. You know, something that's simulated, I guess. I'm gonna go this way, that way ain't too much noise from the traffic. But this is where I live. And if this ain't ghetto, I don't know what to tell you. Look at that. This is like ghetto, the edge of town. Which I don't mind. I don't mind. Anyway, kind of funny because one of my homeboys, you know, needed a place to crash for a minute. So I told him, I said, come on over, man. And he came over and he was kind of grotesqued out by the surroundings. And I'm thinking, bro. And if you listening, man, I don't mean to clown on you or nothing. I'm just saying, it's kind of funny because you need a place to crash. And it is the ghetto, I ain't gonna lie. But it's only $7.75 a month. And it's got a bedroom, a living room, kitchen, and a bathroom. Hey, I think that's all I need. Anyway, but this is it. This is the mission right here. This is the mission. Right here's the mission. It's actually a old motel or hotel that somebody donated to Union Gospel Mission. And I'll tell you, it's like they're helping themselves more than they're helping other people. You know? See, and it's crazy because when I see places like this and they get funded and they drive nice cars and they live in nice homes and the people they're supposed to be helping are still on the streets, I think to myself, okay, what's the benefit of them getting those people off the streets? Because then they wouldn't be needed no more. So if you can keep people on the streets, hey, you know what I'm saying? Because look over here, see this? Big old grocery cart full of stuff. I mean, packed out. I guess that's what you call controlled clutter. I don't know. Anyhow, I'm on my way to the bus stop. Here's First Avenue again, different light of it because it's cloudy instead of sunny. This is the part where the people stay when they're trying to get rehabilitated. So what you'll have is folks that live here, but then they say, well, I want to get better. So they, see right here, look at that. I want to live better. So they give them a spot for the winter. So they give them a spot for the winter. And as soon as summer hits, it's back to the streets because they're warm and they don't have to have a nice place to sleep, that kind of thing. Anyhow, look at this homeless dude walking with dogs. See, this is where the homeless shelter is. And that's where the folks stay it's terrible. Look at this. And then they want to raise money to build something here. It's crazy. It's just crazy. It's like poverty is for the rich. Anyway. So I'm on my way down here, and so it's a program that where I work that they raise funds and they give kids a $100 gift card, which is in this day and age ain't that much, But they give them poverty-stricken kids that are poor, and a police officer from the community shops with them, and that's supposed to bridge ties between cops and kids and all that stuff, Anyway, they asked me to join. I didn't join them on my own. They asked me to join. So because they asked me to join, I said sure. And that's where I'm going right now, to that meeting. Hello, good morning, everybody. How are you? I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. First like. Well, thank you for the first like. So sad, I know, right? It is. It is sad. It is. It really is. It's funny too, because when I look at it, and I thank you for all the subscribers. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for listening whenever I'm on. When I look at it, and again, I got to share this with you. I'm not here to get, if you will, known. I'm not. I'm really not. I do pretty good on my own without YouTube. Anyway, not trying to raise money, not trying to, what do they call those guys, YouTubers and all? I'm not trying to do that. I'm actually producing, directing, writing a movie, so that's where my thing's going to come from. And I'm not going to use this platform. Well, I might, I don't know yet. Definitely will use my Facebook for that. But anyway, look at that big old wood on the door from somebody breaking in. But this is the ghetto. I'm surprised there's not prostitutes walking out here. Probably because it's too cold. Or maybe they stopped them, I don't know. Anyway, so this program, I go every Tuesday. I get paid for it, so why not? They actually pay me for it, which is kind of nice. I didn't ask them to. I would have went anyway. But they say, yeah, you get paid for it. Oh, cool. And we discuss what kind of things were like. This Saturday, we're doing a fundraiser for the Shop with a Cop. Because I'm an artist, they had me make the posters for it, which I did. And then, I'm glad to help. I'll say it like that. I'm really, really happy to help with the kids, for the kids. Always, I don't mind helping kids ever. I don't care what it takes. Anyway, look at these trippy rocks. Anyway, I go there at 11, and it's my day off, and I'm trying to relax. I don't have a car, so I can't just go up there within 15 minutes. I gotta catch this bus, which I don't mind either. But it's my day off, and I'm not trying to go back to there for my day off. But like I said, it's for the kids, so I gotta go over there and we'll have a meeting or whatever. Plus, I got a few things to pick up at the store too. Anyhow, going back to this, a lot's being said, a lot's going on. I don't know. Did any of you ever see The Devil's Advocate? The Devil's Advocate basically was a movie about Lucifer being an angel, which according to scripture, I've read it, yes, he was in fact a fallen angel, Lucifer, son of the morning, as he is called. And so they were using lawyers to get guilty people out of trouble. And from what he said, I'm going to, use the justice system to get so many people that are guilty off, that it'll stink to high heaven. That's what he said. That's what Lucifer, which was Al Pacino, his character said. Fine. And there goes the police. One time, as they say. Okay, so anyway, there was another movie with Matthew McConaughey where, I'm trying to remember the name. Fallen? No. I can't remember the name. But it was about him actually killing. It makes you think he's a serial killer, but he's actually killing people that are demons. And that's what that was about. So he was out, and then you thought it was a crazy thing. I can't remember the name of it. I'm trying to remember. It's a good movie. And that's how we like to think of it. That's really how we like to think of it. Again, hello everybody. I would text back, but my phone is so small I can't. But good morning. It is Tuesday. I'm on High Street and First Avenue catching the bus to go to where I work so I can go to a meeting. It's only an hour-long meeting. Anyhow, you should be here pretty soon. Check out this cool watch. I like this watch. A lot of people, it's so funny, a lot of people actually congratulate me on this watch. Hello. And they act like it's like one night lady told me, how much that watch cost? Like, what do you think? She actually said $600. Honestly, I'll show it to you one more time in slow motion. But she said it was worth $600. That's what she thought. Another guy came over and said, oh man, that's a really nice watch. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, really nice watch. And I told him, I said, well, I'll tell you what, I got it at Ross for $20. What? They didn't even believe it. Because it's not gold. It looks like it. And it looks good, I ain't gonna lie. And it always, it's like kind of like symbolic of, well,
thank you. Have a good day.
You too. It reminds me of folks that looks pristine on the outside, but if you get to the root of it, you know what I'm saying? Hypocrisy, all those kinds of things. Anyhow, going back to what I said, and that's the way we were taught: good versus evil, bad versus good. There's this story that went out that Satan is trying to take as many to hell as he can with him, which is not true. That is not true. It's a fight between Jesus and the devil, and that's not true either. Okay, period. But we are told these things, and we never investigate. We never ever really look. Okay, now I'm going to share something with you, which totally profounds me. Now I'll give this to you because my daughter said this to me when she was young, and it actually shut me up. It actually did. It shut me the hell up. Excuse me for saying the hell, but sometimes I talk that way. Somebody get offended, I apologize. But I said, man, that big ball of fire in the sky. And I always told my kids this. I said, if you have something that contradicts me and corrects me, of course, do it in a respectful way. But go ahead and do it. So as I'm driving, I'm with them. And I always explain stuff to them or try to. And I said, hey, that ball of fire. She says, Dad, it's not a ball of fire. I was like, what? Wait a minute. Go ahead. I said, go ahead. She said, well, Dad, there's no oxygen in space, and fire cannot exist without oxygen. So it's not a ball of fire. It's a ball of plasma. And I was like, whoa. So now I call it the ball of plasma in the sky. Okay. So to all of you out there that listen, a ball of plasma in the sky. Now it's as if you believe this. And I got to make this disclaimer. I do it in every one of my videos or YouTube or whatever. But I'm not trying to get anyone to believe in God, period. I'm not trying to get anyone to go to church. I'm not trying to get anyone to pray. I'm not trying to get anyone. I'll give you a funny story. Let me just do this. I'm not trying to get anyone to believe in the Bible, to follow. None of that. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just sharing. That's it. You know. But anyway, one time, this is really hilarious. But I was in King County Jail for a driving offense. And they gave me 10 days for the driving offense. So I'm in the King County Jail. I think I'm on the 8th floor, 9th floor, 10th. No. Down a little further, but pretty far up. Maybe 7th or 8th floor. And as I'm there, you know, you got, and there's a big populace of those kind of, well, the populace is diverse, there's no question. But what's in the cell, most predominantly, is a big tank, was Samoans and blacks. And as we're in that cell, I mean this with all my heart, it's crazy because, you know, they're fighting over. One wants to watch MTV, and the other one wants to watch basketball. And actually, they was going to start a fight. I'm telling you, they're yelling at each other. I mean, and I'm thinking to myself, Lord, please, if these guys fight, at least let one of them shank me to where I die instantly. I don't want to be a cripple or anything. I said, let me die instantly. Anyhow, as they're arguing and yelling at each other, honestly, you felt the building like drop. The whole building, it felt like it dropped, like it did a jump, like you're going over a speed bump, just a big shake, and then and then it starts shaking like crazy. I mean, like it was an earthquake. It's an actual earthquake. There was another officer. It was an actual earthquake, and in that actual earthquake, you could see these guys. Oh God! Everybody right then and there turned to God, even the ones that didn't believe. You know, and I prayed again. I said, "Look, God, if this building falls down, please let a big piece of concrete fall right on my head, so I could die instantly. I don't want to be trapped under rubble, because when you get down to it, they're actually going to not look for us. Because we're inmates, we're not gonna be first priority. So we'll be stuck under this building for days if this building drops. And I'll tell you, when that building stopped shaking, and it was swaying, this building was swaying. That's how hard the earthquake hit. You can look it up. I think it was, let me think here, about 94, 95, around there. Maybe 1990, of course, last century. Anyway, so the for the next days that I was there, everybody was friendly with each other. I mean, it scared the heck out of all of them, to where they were so friendly with each other. There wasn't any more arguing. There wasn't any, you know what I'm saying? So when I say that, I say this. You don't have to believe in God, period. You don't. Okay? Well, when I was bringing up that big sun, that is the same sun that shined on Adam and Eve. That is the same sun that shined on Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's the same sun. You want to see history? Just look up. There it is. And it doesn't need man. And I love that man can't dig into it. He's trying to study it like the dummy he is. But you don't need that. You can just look up and there's history right there. And it what keeps us warm. It's what keeps our plants alive. It's what gives us light. I mean, straight up, the sun. Okay. And so that's not my intention, folks, is to get anyone to, follow a movement, any of that stuff. But to give you a little hope if I can. Okay? To give you a little, if you will, piercing light in the darkness. See, and I'm going to share something with you. So Sophia said this to me. Here's what she said. Darkness is the absence of light. And I was like, whoa, that's a trip. Darkness is the absence of light. And that floored me. I never heard it honestly, I never had. When you think of night vision, like the cameras that have night vision, the way they're able to see is because there is a little light in there from the stars, from from the from the all those things, you know. And so that's how they're able to harness that and make it happen. It isn't like it can see through the darkness. There's some kind of light there. So there's always light somewhere. So if I could be that little tiny ray of light that helps people that are hurting, that helps people that are lost, why not? You know, why not? Okay. So anyway, I think the bus is coming because the gentleman rolled back. Is the bus coming?
I didn't see it, but I seen that one twice.
Oh yeah. So anyway, that's my whole intention. Is just to give hope, a sharing. Okay, so let me do this. When I tell you that it isn't, if you will, it isn't the devil versus God. It is not good versus evil. Because I'll tell you something. The most kind of evil there is in the world is good. Now you might not get that, but it's true. Okay? You know, and I've shared this a few times with people. And I say this straight up. I say, I respect somebody who's got a knife in their hand, an evil look in their eye, and tells me they hate my guts. I respect that more than I do somebody who has a big smile, gives me a hug, but hates me. Some of you might understand that. Do you get what I'm saying? The smile, the handshake, the hug is all a front. I'm not saying all hugs. I'm not saying all handshakes. I ain't saying all smiles. But it is a front to get something off of you. Now remember this. When Judas had already betrayed Jesus and did the ultimate betrayal to signal out who he is, he kissed him. Now think about that. And even Jesus, the God Almighty in the flesh, the creator of all things, said, do you betray me with a kiss? You get what I'm saying? With a kiss. Now, I'm not saying kisses are evil. That's not what I'm saying. But you could get a background of him. You wouldn't even have to know that he was that way by him betraying him. You could have got that from the gate. Because if you look, what did he hold on to? The purse. What was contained in the purse? The money. That's all he cared about. Hello, folks. Now, you'll see a lot of people misquote scripture and they'll say, well, money is the root of all evil. And that's not what it says. It reads this: the love of money. The love of money. Now, I'll share something with you. Okay? I was doing a relationship class with folks in a treatment center when I worked there. And they gave me a book to follow, but I was like, I'm not going to follow this book. Come on. So I asked everybody right there. I said, you know, you guys, I mean, I know many of you don't think much of yourselves. And a lot of people get offended at that. But I'll tell them straight up. I said, look, the reason I know this is because you are in a place you don't want to be. So whatever actions it was to get you here, there it is. So whatever the actions it was to get you here, there's the bus right there, you guys can see it. I said, whatever actions it was to get you here wasn't good for you because you're in a place you don't want to be. Now watch this, here's what I told them. But I bet you I can make you more rich than Bill Gates right now. And they were shocked. They were just shocked. Like, what is this guy talking about? Then, of course, the guy there opens his mouth, trying to be really smart or whatever. He was trying to be all smart or whatever. And he said, oh, well, don't you, here's what he told me. He said, don't you know the rule of life? I said, what is the rule of life? He said, he who has, oh, no, get everything. No, he who has the most toys at the end of life wins. That's what he said. He who has the most toys at the end of life wins. And I asked him, I said, well, what do you win? And he looked at me. He didn't know what to say. So anyway, I told him all. I said, I'll make you more rich than Bill. I'm going to end this here pretty soon because I'm going to get on the bus. And, of course, there'll be people on there. And I don't want to offend nobody around. Because this, you have an option to not listen. And there, if I overdo it, you know. Anyway, so I'm going to stop after this. But anyway. I started making more rich than Bill Gates, more rich than Mark Zuckerberg, more rich than any rich person you can think of. I can make you richer than that right now. And I asked him, I said, your eyesight, how much did you sell it for? Or how much would you sell it for? And they said 0. Can I get it all day, please? Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Well, I guess I can sit in the back so they don't hear me too loud. Anyway. So I said, I'll make you more rich than Bill Gates right now. Your eyesight, how much would you sell that for? Your hearing, how much would you sell that for? Your ability to walk, how much would you sell that for? And of course, most of them said, well, nothing. I said, there you go. You are priceless. The stuff given to you for free is so valuable that you would never sell it. See? So the idea in that is this. If you can't do it with what you have, you're not going to do it with what you get. Okay? And when you realize you are priceless, you are so valuable that you can't put a price on your life. See what I'm saying now? So when it says the love of money is the root of all evil, well, if you look at it, there's no amount of money in the world that can replace you. Because if there is, then you devalue yourself. Period. Okay? What you think about what? Mass What do I think about mass immigration? Okay. So I would have to ask, why would you ask a question like that? Okay. But I'll say this. I don't agree with people not getting due process. I don't agree with people being snatched off streets that are people by people that are not identifiable. Okay, I don't agree with that at all. Okay. But what I do agree with is this, that this whole world belongs to everybody, period. I know that for a fact. I'll tell you how I know that. See, we tend to think because it's different races that we're separate, which is okay. You have that right to believe that 100%. But the same oxygen that you breathe is the same oxygen that the people you hate breathe also. The same water that you drink. The same people you hate drink the same water also. The same sun that you enjoy is the same sun that the people you hate enjoy also. Okay? And so I'll say this. If I have a home and somebody is hurting and needs help, I'm going to help them. Period. I'm going to help them in any way I can. Because if I was hurting, I would want somebody to help me. There you go. It's that simple. Doesn't look too sunny. No, it's not sunny at all. But we know this to be true. Above those clouds is that sun. You know? Okay. Let me see who else says anything. So he says, Jesus Christ loves me. Somebody said that. They said, Jesus Christ loves me. And their name is Flash 55. And that sounds like the same old sayings that most Christians say. Jesus loves you. And they have no idea what they're talking about. You notice they never say, I love you. And what did Jesus say to do? Love one another as I have loved you. They always throw it on Jesus. Well, I said the little saying, so I did my part for the church. I know that little saying they give. I know that well, because that's what they do. Okay, let me get back to this now. I remember, anyway, going back to this now. And so here, again, I'm going to tell you, it is not good versus evil. It is not the devil versus God. Okay? Now, I'll share something with you. There was a gentleman who actually believed he was doing right by actually taking people that were followers of Jesus and imprisoning them. But we fail to realize this, that that's part of following Jesus, is to be imprisoned. And I'll prove it. I'll prove it right now. When I had children with their mother, I was in prison to those children, but it was a good prison. If they cried at night, I had to get up to change them. When they were hungry, I had to feed them. Actually, I wanted to because I loved them. So it's not a bad prison. So this gentleman who went and was imprisoning because he thought he was doing right. And I'm not kidding you. A lot of these people, and I don't mean to say these people like separation, but to say the people that hate other races, they have every right. They really do. And a lot of them think they are doing right. Okay? They really believe they're doing right. And so this gentleman who actually imprisoned people that were followers of Jesus went and thought he was doing right. And he really believed it. Until one day, he met the one who was the leader of the followers. And he told him, why do you persecute me? Now, I never understood that before until I had children. And I told my son, I said, when you hurt yourself, I hurt twice. And he looked at me, and I heard that before too. But he looked at me and he said, what do you mean you hurt twice? I said, well, for one, I hurt that you got hurt, but I also hurt that you're hurting. So I'm hurting for you, and I'm hurting for myself because you got hurt. And he was like, wow. Now, at his age, I didn't understand it. But you see, anything we go through, it doesn't matter what it is. He hurts as well. Period. And when he told this gentleman, why do you persecute me? Even though it's the people that he's persecuting, he said, what? Then he asked him this. He said, don't you know it's hard for you to kick against the pricks or the sharp objects, which means you cannot go against me, period. And that's the truth, folks. That is the truth. There's some points I brought up that none of you can come against. And it's not because I brought them up or because it's my own ideas or give me a pat on the back because I came up with this. No. But it's in fact saying, I got to get off this bus now. Hold on real quick. All right, here we go. Thank you. Okay, so anyway, it's the fact I think I'm early. I don't